Hi, Deauntae.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm so happy that you're here. Don't be nervous. It's gonna be
Yes,
good.
thank
We
you for
got you.
having me. Yeah.
So, can you explain to us a little bit more about life as a real estate agent? What's that look like?
Life as a real estate agent is busy, child. It's busy. It is always on the go. But I love it. I love it. You know, I got into this industry to be able to help people, help families, start to build generational wealth. You know, I didn't come from money in my family. And so I think kind of growing up, you know, I got to a point realizing that I, you know, wasn't really big in, you know, wanted to do school, not wanting to do any of that stuff. You know, I realized that I did want to make an impact and I wanted to help people. And, you know, what better way to do that than to work on building generational wealth and, you know, start with, you know, property, because that is the number one way to do that.
Right. Well, we need you right now. Now
Yes.
you had sent us like this first overlay where you were talking about the medium housing prices. So how is
Yes.
that for POCs today?
Yes. So right now prices are on the increase, right? And I think a lot of people have this misconception that, you know, prices are going to fall. We're going to go back to this, you know, recession, and, you know, that's going to be their time to get in. But as you can kind of see on the graph, right, it's consistently kind of going up. And so I work primarily with clients in the Pierce, King County, and Snohomish area every now and again, but primarily in the Pierce and King County. And, you know, over the last few months, the market has definitely shifted a lot. And as of right now, we're constantly seeing this, you know, gradual increase in home prices. And so, you know, it's better to get in now.
So we're not facing a housing crash.
We're not facing a housing crisis. No, a lot of people think that we are. And they, you know, at this point, you know, now with the market kind of slowing down, they think waiting is going to be their best bet in, you know, jumping in. But as you can see from the graph, right, if you wait, honestly, you're going to wait yourself out of a house, right? That house that you wanted that was once, you know, 500,000 is now going to be, you know, 600,000, 700,000, right?
Yeah.
And is your income going to be able to meet that, you know, to be able to afford that house at that point? So,
yeah, well, we're talking about equity too. So
yeah.
the question for me is like, for Black and brown people, because I mean, you sent the other graph too, and it's like, is there a gap between Black home buyers and other community members?
There definitely is. You know,
Okay.
there's definitely a big gap, right? I think at this point, when I was looking at the numbers, it was like more than 30%. There's more of a 30% gap between Black homeownership versus, you know, compared to other races.
Yeah.
And so it's huge, and it's sad to say, to say the least, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with people just, our community not necessarily knowing what it takes to get into home ownership, right? They have these myths of, you know, what they believe they need in order to qualify.
And what are some of those myths?
Well, it's credit, right? They believe that their credit is too low. They believe, I feel like there's still people out there today that believe they need 20% down or more to be able to afford, you know, a home. And that's far from the truth.
Yeah.
But
you are the truth, though.
Right. I am the truth, you know?
mean, it's been so great to watch you your craft. 1 minute you have it for sale, 2 days later it's gone.
Yeah.
So what makes you stand out from the other realtors? And shout out to all the other realtors out there, especially if you're Black.
Yes.
But
I think the biggest thing, you know, aside from being gay, aside from being Black, right, I'm in an industry that is very white driven.
right. No, you can say it loud here.
Know,
this Black media matters. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. I'm in a field that is very white driven, right? And so I take pride in trying to stand out in any moment that I can and make myself different. And I think that's why, you know, the clients that come to me and the people that I get, it's my personality, right? Of course, but it's just standing in my truth of who I am and working with the people that are comfortable with that. Yeah. Right. So I think that's the biggest thing that makes me different. But, you know, I also say there's a lot of realtors in this industry that have been in the industry for 15, 16, 17, 20, you know, plus years. And a lot of those realtors have, you know, this old mindset of thinking of how to get new clients or how to even maintain the clients that they have, right? They're stuck in the past. where, you know, I mean, times change, right? Like how you're getting clients, how you're educating clients, the resources that are out there available, you know, to be able to help your clients, you know, not have to pay 20% and whatnot. It's like a lot of realtors aren't familiarizing themselves with these products that are out there that can help, you know, bridge that gap of Black ownership, Black home ownership. Okay. And so I do, you know, I take pride in trying to find, you know, and educate myself in those resources to help my clients.
You know, and that's appreciated. I've heard good things.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
One of my homegirl who's also a realtor, Jessica, is just spoke your name like, hey, Trey is amazing.
Yes. You said Jessica?
Yes.
Jessica Talton?
Yes.
Yes. I know her. Yes. I love her.
I've just heard great things about y'all, but I do want to know more about not just the work you do here, but also some of the community work you do as well. So we'll get into that in just a second.
Okay.
You're watching We Live in Color.
Get ready, everyone. October 24th and 25th, Converge Media is heading right back to the Paramount Theater. Join me, Besa Gordon, Eric Calligraphy, Trey Holiday, and the entire Converge Media family as we once again broadcast live with conversations on art, culture, mental health, community issues, and more. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment. Head over to whereweconverge.com for more information, and we will see you October 24th and 25th, streaming live across all Converge Media platforms.
Community, it's been 3 years since we've been able to celebrate in person at our annual Evening of Choice. And this year at Access in Pioneer Square on October 19th at 6 p.m., we will be back together again, celebrating our journey, healing towards justice. This past couple of years have been incredibly difficult for our young people and our community at large. And one thing that has become clear and absolutely true is there's one way forward that brings all of us together, and that's as we heal. And when our young people heal, they're truly able to become who it is they've been purposed to be. So on this evening, you'll hear stories of our young people, hear the evolution of our organization as we emphasize healing in our cause. And together we will celebrate another year of impact and growth as we journey towards justice together. Again, it's at Access in Pioneer Square, 6 p.m. on October 19th, and live streaming will be available through YouTube at I Choose 180.
Get ready, everyone. October 24th and 25th, Converge Media is heading right back to the Paramount Theater. Join me, Besa Gordon, Eric Calligraphy, Trey Holiday, and the entire Converge Media family as we once again broadcast live with conversations on art, culture, mental health, community issues, and more. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment. Head over to whereweconverge.com for more information, and we will see you October 24th and 25th, streaming live across all Converge Media platforms.
Community, it's been 3 years since we've been able to celebrate in person at our annual Evening of Choice. And this year at Access in Pioneer Square on October 19th at 6 p.m., we will be back together again, celebrating our journey, healing towards justice. This past couple of years have been incredibly difficult for our young people and our community at large. And one thing that has become clear and absolutely true is there's one way forward that brings all of us together, and that's as we heal. And when our young people heal, they're truly able to become who it is they've been purposed to be. So on this evening, you'll hear stories of our young people, hear the evolution of our organization as we emphasize healing in our cause. And together we will celebrate another year of impact and growth as we journey towards justice together. Again, it's at Access in Pioneer Square, 6 p.m. on October 19th, and live streaming will be available through YouTube at I Choose 180.
And we're back. Will We Live in Color? And I'm here with my guy, Treyvon King. Okay? I always call him Trey because I know him personally, but Treyvon King.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you got to add that King. Okay.
Yeah, so speaking of which, before you got your crown, right? What kind of work were you doing before you got into real estate?
So prior to real estate, prior to being a real estate agent, I was in escrow, and then I also was in property management. I kind of took on both of those paths because I knew I wanted to get into real estate, but I wasn't ready at the time, right? And so I ended up kind of venturing down both of those paths because I thought both of those areas of work would help me in being able to better educate my clients through the real estate transaction, right? Escrow is there's a lot of information. It's, at that point, when you enter escrow, which is, for everybody who doesn't know, like the middleman in the, buying and selling process, there's a lot of information that gets thrown at the clients, and escrow is they're very overworked. And so clients sometimes feel very, they don't know who to ask. They don't know who to go to. They can't get in contact with people. So if you don't have a understanding kind of that process, then it could potentially leave a bad taste in your client's mouth. So I wanted to get familiarized with that, that aspect of, the real estate industry. So that way I could better help my clients. And then property management was a plus because, I always have people who come to me wanting rentals and,
you've been coming to you for everything.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So it's just like, it's great just to watch you be in this space because like even before real estate, like I met you through some of the community work you do. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on some of that work?
Yeah. Well, I've partnered with, POCAN before in the past. I think at this point it's like 5 years running and whatnot. And that was kind of my introductory into doing community work. And thus far, I've loved it, right? We've done the Pacific Northwest Black Pride, and, I've been on that planning committee to be able to help bring that to life. And it's been amazing. I've met amazing people through that process, right? It's opened up my eyes, hugely on just kind of what the community wants, right? So allowing me to have a better voice and being able to support my community.
And that's the thing, though, because not only watching you come full circle in your professional space, right? And as you've been working in community, it was just so great to see you at Pacific Northwest Black Pride, teaching people about, hey, buy a house, right? And how do you think it's important to have like that peer relationship, like between us queer community members in the areas of real estate?
How do I think it's important? Say that question again.
Why do you think it's important to make sure we have that? Because it's a representation, right? We don't see very many queer Black men, in their own arena of real estate, right? So watching y'all table and come into that space to get people to come in.
Well, again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying with, a lot of our community they just don't know, right? They feel like home ownership is so far-fetched. They feel like, they don't, they're not going to qualify. And, it's that fear of rejection kind of. So there's a lot, I think that gap that we talked about earlier, right? Did we talk about it earlier? Okay. The gap that we talked about, right? A big piece of that is just the fear of people. And so, I take pride in being at these community events and then being able to have these just casual conversations about, yes, I'm in real estate, and, if, there's resources out there. If you need them, not saying or assuming, right? But if you need them, right, tell me your situation, and, I'll find you the best product, the best resource that's going to be able to get you what you want. So,
and that's what you do. You give them what they want.
That's what I do.
So we do have a lender coming in just a second to give us some more information, because you go hand in hand.
We do. Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, so I think in the home buying process, the most important piece, aside from getting a realtor to help facilitate the whole situation and make sure all the legalities are worked out, right? The lender is the one who's going to be working out the money to be able to afford the home. And it works really good when when a realtor has a lender that they, do have a relationship with and a rapport with, where, their mission and their goal is the same, which is to help the client and save the most amount of money and get them into the home that they want to get into to start to build equity for their family. Right. So
that's how it goes. And we're about to bring Jasmine on in just a second, but before she comes on, how has your experience been working with Jasmine?
Oh, Jasmine is great. Me and Jasmine work really well together because I think we both treat our clients the same, which is with care, compassion, communication. She's really good at updating and giving the phone calls, the emails, the texts, and making sure that make sure that you have all of the information that you need to feel comfortable. And I'm very much the same way in my business, right? Communication is key. And I've worked with other, lenders in the past where it hasn't been that. It's been like, okay, we're in contract, and then I'm not talking to them again until we close. And they're like, okay, write me a review. We're closed. It was great working with you. And I'm like, no, I need updates on what, because I will say in the middle of, the home buying process, it does go silent with the realtor and the client sometimes. And you're working a lot with the client is working a lot with the lender. Right. And so in that space, I still look for, updates. I need to know what's happening so that way I can continue to keep in touch with my clients. And she does a good job of doing that.
Shout out to Jasmine.
Shout out to Jasmine.
Thank you very much, Trey. So we're gonna.
Thank you.
I need you to come back for just a special thing.
I'm gonna come back.
Right.
I kind of like this.
Right, but we have to get into the lending part, right?
Okay.
So we will be back with Jasmine Johnson McCoy.